We go work together to sustain democracy. Shaibu nine talk this one. Edo State Deputy Governor Right Honourable Comrade Philip Shaibu don call on Nigerians to work together to sustain democratic ideals, to provide room for equity, freedom of speech and better development. E tok dis one wen e dey address protesters wey do peaceful protest come Edo State Government House. E say democracy don come to stay. E also address the issue of the 14 lawmakers elect and godfatherism.
Today, we are all on the street protesting for good governance. And we have distinguished between the military and the civil rule. And we have agreed that the difference is freedom of speech and democracy is for all of us. And we struggle to have democracy. And we are saying democracy must continue to exist to the extent that we have freedom of speech. Am I hearing you guys loud? I also want to address the issue of House of Assembly. You know what has happened in the past. As I speak, I don't have a representative in my constituency. Isako West constituency too. I don't have a representative. Because these characters, when they were voted, they decided to follow a godfather. And you know, the ingredient of the struggle is to strengthen the institution. That is our major concern as activists, is to strengthen the institution. Today, godfathers have taken over democracy that you and I struggled to have. That the likes of Rason Kuti, Beko Rason Kuti, the Gani Fayemi of our time, all of them struggle to have democracy. Not democracy that is controlled by a few, by a cabal. And that is what have destroyed the fabrics of the society. We did everything to beg these young legislators and say, look, you are not representing one godfather, you are representing a constituency. Come back and be sworn in. Even when it was about 1 month to their exit, we reminded them. The Constitution says if you don't sit for 181 days, your seat will be declared vacant. These characters still refuse. I personally reached out to them. We make noise on the media. I call it noise because when we were speaking in the media, they said we are making noise. We should issue a second proclamation. And we said, this is what the law says. They went to court. Court said, you cannot issue a second proclamation. And when court took that decision, we thought these characters would return, knowing that the court has spoken. But unfortunately, they remain. The time came, 181 days gone, 182, 215 days. And the House took a decision to declare their seat vacant. What we are saying now is that when your seat is declared vacant, the Speaker will write to INEC for election to take place in those constituencies. In Kaduna recently, the seat of the former Speaker was declared vacant. And INEC has scheduled an election for a by-election in that constituency. We are waiting for INEC. INEC is telling us that the matters are in court. Until the issues are settled in court, they cannot conduct a by-election. So that is what is holding us as far as those constituencies is concerned.
Oga Deputy also advocate for unicameral legislature to reduce the cost of governance, save funds wey dem save to restructure legislative system, make dem use and take develop states, say make dem also consider policing arrangement to take check insecurity for Naija.
For us, we would like a robust house, even when in the amendment that has been proposed from Edo, that we should shrink governance, we should shrink bureaucracy. We are now clamoring for that less members should be in the House of Assembly. We're also saying that the bicameral legislature should be reduced to just one, because recently you can see why Senate was doing their own public hearing, House of Rep was doing. And the same message that we took to Asaba is the same message to the senators, it's the same message we took to the House of Rep, it's the same Asaba. So if you have only one legislative arm at the national, you didn't need to transport yourself 2 times to Asaba. Waste of funds. So for us, it's not just about freedom of speech. It's about the level of bureaucracy should be reduced so that those funds that are meant for those other ones can also be used for the development of our state. I think that the only way we can strengthen the institution. We are also saying, just like you have said, that in the constitution that is about to be amended, state police should be in our law. And not just state police, we should also have, like they have in America, county police. So you have the federal police, you have the state police, you have the community police. So at the end of the day, you discover that everybody is carried along, because the real policing is at the community level. If the communities are secured, the entire state and the entire country are secured. But beyond just having policemen and having POWOV, having vigilante, the main security is to create enabling environment for private sector to come and drive the economy, for our teeming unemployed youth to be gainfully employed. If we are able to get that aspect right, the issue of insecurity will have drastically reduced. So I want to join comrades to say, for us in Edo, we are committed to democracy, and democracy beyond infrastructure. And that is why this governor will not waste government money to be doing commissioning of projects. We prefer to use the money that will have spent the bureaucracy of commissioning of projects to do other projects. We will not waste our time commissioning projects. We will use that time gainfully to have policies that encourage an economy that will have steady growth. And if we have that, obviously, teeming unemployed youth will be gainfully employed. So, gentlemen, I salute you guys for the courage, and I join on behalf of the state governor and government of Edo State. We join you to say democracy must go with freedom of speech. Yes. And at the end of the day, all of us together will have a date with history.
Ibrahim Oviawe will be one of the protesters. Say the wakana for Nigerians to enjoy the dividends of democracy. Say the present administration don't make freedom of speech difficult. Now why government must ensure adequate security of lives and properties.
The quest for democracy was for Nigerians to enjoy the dividend of democracy itself. Section 14, subsection 2B of the 1999 Constitution says that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of governance. We consider very seriously that security is one of the items on the exclusive list. And as such, it is within the precinct of the federal government to provide security. I commend the state for the vigilante that have been put in perspective. But we want to advocate that the insecurity on the highways, where from people are dying on a daily basis. Our farmers can no longer go to the farm. Our people can no longer travel. And we need to evaporate from Benin to go to my village. I cannot for fear of insecurity. Deputy Governor, we also know that you also pass through that road. And you know what it feels, even in the heart of your own security. We want to advocate that whereas the federal government is paying lip service, or whereas the federal government have paid, we came out this morning, we noticed that the number of securities we have on the street of Ring Road is more than the number of protesters. What that presupposes, therefore, that we have the sufficient manpower to engage this system if truly they want to. They are well dressed, well kitted on Ring Road. But whereas on the highway, when you go there, you meet scanty individuals. Those who are sent to the highway on the basis of posting, those who do not like their face. The time to take it very serious. We must not wait until a commissioner of police is killed on that highway. We must not wait until a serving member of government is killed on that highway before this matter is taken very, very, very seriously. Today in our country, 22 years down the line of democracy, we are still on the street advocating for what is supposed to be. The quest for democracy was not simply because military regime were not providing issues of infrastructure. Better roads were built during the military regime. But to enjoy that very dividends which individuals needed to enjoy was the advocacy for democracy. Today as we speak, freedom of speech is there, but freedom after speech is no longer there. We ask very strongly that that freedom after speech, for which individuals are free to speak and ensure an engaged government constructively, must be open. We must open the space for us, because we are not too sure of what will happen in this country anywhere, because the government has shown at the federal level to be directionless, and as such, we cannot determine what happens in the next day. I want to urge the Deputy Governor to take this issue of security. I know your efforts are limited, but with the little you have done, we must improve on it to see how the security of that road is total.
This one na the ogbonge informate wey TMC TV carry come give una on top the cocoa for today. My name na Chidima Anichukwu from Benin.